You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
Well, good morning. It is Friday, the 3rd of June. You are lucky because you found us once again. If you were looking for the weekly broadcast of the Ask a Welfare Rights Program, you have been successful. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization, and you are about to get an official welcome from the National Welfare Rights Chairperson, and that would be Marion Kramer. So, Marion, say good morning.
Good morning, and we've been, although it was the holidays and what have you, Maureen, we all been real busy this week.
Yes.
I want to remind each one of you that call in, please turn your TV or phone down. Should you be able to, call in, and the numbers are. For call-in is 313.
Okay. Good morning. We were waiting for the standby music and the come on music, but we followed the instructions of the engineer, and he said, "Go ahead." So that's what that means. Good morning, everyone. I was just explaining to Marion, this is the same blouse I had on 3 weeks ago. And I better start rotating my colors a little bit better. My name is Maureen Taylor. I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization, and this is the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. That's the unofficial welcome. Marion, the national chair of Welfare Rights Union, is about to give you the official welcome. So, Marion, please say hello.
Good morning. I hope you're feeling well and ready to talk this morning. And remember, look at the, well, they're not down there. Are they going to?
They'll be back.
Look at are you looking? Okay, there they are. There's a whole line of numbers at the bottom of your TV. You can call those numbers and participate in this program. Here are the numbers. I'm gonna say it, and that is, here it is right here. I got it. 313-868-0342, 0351-4336, and the website is www.tv30. Yeah, well, I don't miss that dot all the time.
14 years you've been missing the
yeah,
dot.
that dot.
Go ahead.
WHPR.com. I hope you will participate in this program today, because we have quite a few things to talk about. And Maureen, tell them about the nice activity we went to the other day.
You talked about when we were out of town?
No, here. When we went to RJ's.
Oh, all right. There was a birthday party.
Yes.
And the birthday party was Wednesday night.
Real nice.
And it was a marvelous affair. RJ, I think he's 25 years of age again. We've been to that 25-year birthday party several times over the last few years. And RJ was in rare form. He was looking good. Mm-hmm. It was a nice crowd out there.
Really good crowd.
That was a lot of fun, but the music just was fantastic. A group called Lexington, they were outstanding. Another wonderful entertainer, what's his name? Sonny Williamson.
Yes.
I think I'm saying it right. Just wonderful live entertainment. And it's been such a long time since we've had an opportunity to see each other, to be in each other's presence. It was a face-to-face event on the side of the studio, and it was just magnificent. It was hot. It was very hot. But the wind, the breezes were just so pleasant. And there were several vendors there. There were outfits you could buy and shrimp and fish and fries you could get, and just a wonderful array. Marion, nobody was afraid.
No,
We were
we
outside.
were having a ball.
We were just having a wonderful time.
Listening to music.
Yeah, the music was just really, really great. So that was fantastic. And we've got a guest speaker that we're going to have to check in with us, and that might be the guest speaker calling on the wrong phone right now. But
no.
the other thing that we've been dealing with is that welfare rights was in Baltimore for 3 days of organizing and training. And we were there, and it was quite an event. A lot of things learned. I tell you something, Marion. Let me show you right here. You see
got
that?
suntan?
No, it's not a suntan. That's a sunburn. Yeah, and if you can see it, look at my skin.
Yeah.
And got to be careful of that,
Yes, we
and that's how you get later on. You get melanomas,
Mine's
skin
kinda weird.
cancer.
You see that?
Yeah.
And
So
I tell you, it was
it's
something.
5 hours out there in that sun, which was better on that Saturday, because if that had been on that Friday, we'd still be in Baltimore in intensive care. We'd be in the hospital. So shout out to my father, Clarence Milton, gone now.
Yeah.
And the first time I had a sunburn years ago, I come in the house, I still living at home. Daddy, what's the matter? I said, look at my neck. I think I got a sunburn. I was just crying. Father ran in the bathroom, grabbed a jar of Noxzema. You remember Noxzema?
Mm-hmm.
And pulled that Noxzema out and slapped it on my back. And rubbed it on. It just stopped the pain right away. Took that heat and that blistering was gone. And just the other day when we finally got back, and my kid come in the house and, what's that on your neck? I said, I think I got a sunburn. Boy, Navarre jumped up them steps, went in the bathroom, come back down with the Noxzema. Marion, he knew the story, and slapped that Noxzema on my neck. So those of you that still believe that African Americans and people of brown and black skin can't get sunburned, you're
Please,
wrong.
you are
You're wrong.
In fact, there were a lot of people out there that day.
You're wrong.
Going
So you
through
have
some
to be careful
problems.
and protect that skin. So we were there for those days, and then Baltimore for 3 days, and then we went to Washington, D.C., and we participated in the Poor People's Campaign Assembly Against Poverty, and there were several tens of thousands of people there. And the thing that sticks out, that's Joe calling us with something wrong. All right. So there are the numbers down there, Mary, and I told him to call us at 868-4336. So that's him. All right. So we attended that event, and as I say, there were several tens of thousands. Here's Marion, can't find the phone again. Got 800 little compartments in the purse. Is that Joe? Yeah.
Joe?
All right. So, what is the matter?
He said the phone is not working.
It is working.
is
313-868-4336.
Did you dial 8? What?
That's the number I sent him.
He said that number you just said is not
No,
working.
868-4336. That's the number that's right here.
Yes.
No, 4336. That's the one I just texted him to tell him to use that one.
You gave it.
I sent him this one.
Well, you two. let me
Yeah, tell him
you,
this caller number.
You two fight
Oh,
after
we don't
get
have
off
time
air.
for that now. Tell him to
No,
hang up
just
and dial
call it.
4336.
4336. Okay.
My goodness.
Oh, he's calling back.
Yeah, the other one may not be working, so I just sent him that number. My goodness. Sounds just like us, don't it? Yeah. All right. So there are a lot of people. We met a lot of folks while we were there. All kinds of things. People working in chicken factories and chicken farms, turkey factories and turkey farms, fish factories, fish farms that are making at a low income wage and just below. So, you know, the essence of poverty is nationwide. It is absolutely nationwide. So, we will check in right now, and we'll get to our guest speaker. And caller, you are our first caller of the day, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yeah,
Caller, can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Fantastic. Mr. Engineer, if you could boost the volume just a little bit. Caller, thank you so very much. I'm glad you called in. I sent you a different number because one of those numbers weren't working, but I'm glad you got the right number. So
Yeah.
we want to introduce a dear friend. You know, okay, introduce a dear friend. This is Mr. Joseph Perry. And Mr. Joseph Perry lives in Chicago, and he's been active with the homeless and the homeless union for a number of years. And we asked him
Since
to
its
call
beginning.
in today to give us an update. So, Joe, thank you for calling. And Mr. Engineer, boost up that volume so that we can hear real good. Joe Perry, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We are wonderful, wonderful, and thank you for calling us to give us some new information. We appreciate you. Go ahead.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. First, let me say thank you for having me on your show. I'm
Okay.
hearing an echo. It's kind of strange. Everything I'm saying is coming back in my ears.
The engineer will fix all of that for us.
Okay.
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 All right. Now,
So,
Joe, tell us, give us a little bit of history in terms of the homeless union in Chicago. How did that get started, and what part did you play?
right. Okay. Great. Yeah. A team in 1985, at the end of '85, a team came from Philadelphia to Chicago, and Philadelphia was the home of the National Union of the Homeless, and that was the first one that started. So someone who gave them my name as a person who was an organizer here in Chicago, and they come and met with me, and I took them around to the different places where the homeless were, and we started organizing straight from that.
Okay. And I can remember in some of those early days, were you a resident at the Cabrini Greens?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, tell folks a little bit of history about that development, what happened to it, and you know, give them a little history about that project. Go ahead.
Yeah, I still live in Cabrini.
Okay.
You know, what's left of it, because they're gentrifying like crazy over here. But anyway, what took place, a lot of people don't realize the history. I know we don't have a lot of time on the show, so I'll try and abbreviate it. But Cabrini was built actually out of the Depression and the mass homelessness that took place as a result of the Great Depression. And they had looked upon Cabrini as a way to especially house the veterans from World War I, who had been protesting, by the way, because literally they, you know, had fought for the country, and yet they were one of the biggest demographics of people who were homeless on the street. And that remains true to this very day. It's veterans are hugely, you know, on the street as homeless. But what took place was we were going into World War I, and World War II. World War II. And Cabrini was finished in 1942, in March of 1940. So it's 4 months after we entered World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that happened at that same moment was that the South had mechanized cotton production, and they had begun that right after the war. And this caused, it was some of the economics that led to the Great Migration. And so a lot of people left the South, came into northern cities like Chicago. And so they built these a lot of people don't realize that they built the projects very close to industrial parks. And at that time, you paid only 25% of your income for rent. So a lot of people, saw it that, oh, this is great, for people that solve homelessness and that sort of, and it did. But we didn't realize that the real reason why the government was so hot about it is that it also, provided cheap labor for all these industrial parks. And that's pretty much what happened all over the country. So what happened was, as soon as these industrial parks and these businesses didn't need our labor anymore, this cheap labor, then guess what? You don't get to have this cheap housing anymore. And that's precisely what's going on all over the country. And it's been a big reason why this homelessness is exploding.
I heard you. Sounds like a couple of words got dropped off, but you were saying that's one of the big reasons why homelessness is returning. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's exploding. Homelessness is literally exploding all over the country. You don't realize that all HUD and public housing all over the country is now managed by private corporations. And these private corporations consider all public housing in the state by the way they manage. Is in competition with their private side, because all these private corporations have a private units that they rent out and sell in terms of homes. And guess what? All the public housing is in competition with that. So what they've done is they've emptied out public housing. They've emptied out public housing. I think something like 10% of public housing nationwide is empty. It's like putting stocks and shares of the chicken coop. And it's one of the reasons why the rent and housing costs have gone up so high. It's supply and demand. A certain amount of housing off the market, the price goes up. Yeah, anything you have a smaller supply and larger demand for it, the price goes up.
Okay, Mr. Peary, are you using a speaker on your phone?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, no. If you just talk directly, talk directly to the phone, and we can hear you much better.
And our listening audience would love to hear that too, Joe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now say that again. What percentage? You were giving some percentages about apartments and whatnot in public housing.
Just under 10%. I don't know what's going on now because Marcia Fudge, who's the new person over HUD, has been promising she's going to build 2 million new units of public housing. There's a little bit over 5 million public housing units nationwide. And a little bit under 10% of those have been empty.
Okay, when we were in Washington, D.C. just this last week, we met with her administrative staff, Secretary of HUD, and told them of the absolute miserable situations going on for sure in Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck, some of these areas where it is impossible to find affordable housing. That's the one thing we brought up. And the other thing we talked about is that public housing, like we used to have a very large development called Herman Gardens. It was all 100% dedicated to house low-income families. Now it's been changed over and it's called Garden View Estates. And 80% of all of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments, same complex, new name, 80% is for market payers. The last 20% is divided up into low-income households, seniors, and persons who are disabled. And that flip is going on throughout Michigan. And it sounds like you're saying the loss of public housing apartments is also something that's going on in Chicago. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, you exactly described Chicago. And again, people don't see the connection between, work, being a part of a workforce and housing. And quite frankly, what happened here is that the area that Cabrini was in was surrounded by 4 industrial parks. I mean, industrial areas. And the people that lived here, and at one point there were 22,000 people living here, provided that cheap labor. Because why? Because if your rent is 25% of your income, it doesn't matter how low your slave wages are. Your slave wages it's only 25% of those slave wages was going to pay for your housing.
Okay.
And so whereas other people around the city wouldn't be able to keep a job like that, we could.
Yeah, makes sense. Cabrini Green today. We were having a discussion because Highland Park is the one of the cities that's under attack in Michigan, and Highland Park used to have upwards of 60,000 residents. Now it's got fewer than 10,000. So it is being picked on by all kinds of things. Cabrini Green, I heard you say at one point there were 23,000 people that lived in the Cabrini Green development. What are the numbers looking like today?
Well, there's nothing left but a row house and a piece of a row house. All the high rises. Cabrini was originally the row houses and then the row house extensions, and that was called the Cabrini homes and the Cabrini extensions. And then they built what we would call the white projects, and that was the green homes. And so together it was known as Cabrini Green. All the green homes are gone.
Wow.
All the Cabrini extensions are gone.
Wow.
In fact, there was a green homes extension. That's still, but it's no longer part of public. It's still there physically, but it's no longer part of public housing.
So
right? And so now all that's left is there's like 542 units of housing in the row houses, and something like 400 of those units are empty. They sit empty, and they've been empty for 10 years while homeless people die on the streets.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, how many people and how many lives would that have saved if those apartments had been open? And so a guess that we have at the moment is that in the city of Chicago that there is as many as 2,000 public housing units that are empty.
And you're talking about empty right now?
Empty right now.
Wow. What were you going to ask, Marion?
Oh, no, I was just going to make a comment of here for here. You know, Maureen, that's one of the things that we have been talking about here in Highland Park. You know, why did they move to get rid of public housing here? We found out when we went to D.C. and talked to Ms. Fudge's staff that, you know, they still looking at Highland Park and what had happened here. You know, a lot of from what I've heard over in the community is that, you know, there was a couple of guys that were running HUD over here, and they were running it right into their pockets and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know in New York, at one time, I remember they began to push people out, talking about they had to, you know, push them out, and I know the next time I go to New York, I'm gonna try to go over there and see what's going on, because of Chicago and I don't know about the other cities and stuff like that. We need to constantly pull this stuff together, because why we don't want our people out on the streets, not
No, we
living, and you know they're not being taken care of like they should be.
Not even when they were inside. They for
It's
sure
terrible.
not being taken care of
Now,
outside.
and that's criminal.
You
What's
know?
going on?
You know,
Mhm.
so yeah,
That's great.
we are aware. We are absolutely aware of that. Okay, Joe, give us your best piece of information in terms of housing in Chicago. How difficult it is for low and moderate income people to find housing in Chicago, because we're having the same thing in and around the Detroit area. So give us your update. I got you. Give us your update, okay? Already on housing possibilities in Chicago.
Okay, well, there's a waiting list for public housing here. There's 350,000 people on that waiting list. Some have been on there for decades. So that gives you an idea. Also, instead of promised public housing being built here, they simply just break the promise and end up building condos. And because of the situation I explained to you earlier, and this is the number one thing people have to get from this, is that you have private corporations in charge of public housing. Anytime you got private folks in charge of public stuff, you're going to have a problem, because they figure out a way how to get a profit out of it. And that's precisely what they're doing. And these folks are getting these huge contracts from HUD to manage, and then what they're doing is literally market manipulation through their management, right? And there's no other way to explain it. And what you've got, and what they told us years ago was they were going to save public housing by making it private. And what's the result? The average rent in the city of Chicago is $1,700 a month. What poor folks can afford that?
Not even 5 of them all together.
Yes.
For sure,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, now, Mr. Peary, we're going to ask you to make your final statement, because we've got an unexpected guest that's arrived in the studio today. But I'm going to call on you, because we're going to need at least a 45-minute interview with you to go over some of these details and whatnot. So at this moment, give us your parting statement in terms of, if folks wanted to get in contact with you in Chicago, where should they go? Who should they call? How would they reach you if they wanted to do some work?
Okay, yeah. So let me give a little comment that I hope sums it up, and then I'll give you some information on how to reach us.
All right, and that has to be a brief comment, so go ahead.
Okay. All right, so let me just read it's a paragraph, hopefully. Anyway, it's from the fellow who was considered the smartest scientist in the world at the time. His name was Stephen Hawking. This is what he said, quote, "If machines produce everything we need, the outcome would depend on things and how they're distributed. Everyone can enjoy a life of luxurious leisure if the machine-produced wealth is shared. Or people can end up miserably poor if the machine owners successfully lobby against wealth redistribution. So far, the trend seems to be toward the second option, with technology driving ever-increasing inequality." I think that sums up what we're facing here in terms of housing.
Joe, as always, you are magnificent. You have these details. We're going to wring every detail out of you and get all of those pieces of information shared, so people can see there is a relationship between Chicago and Detroit and with these other cities and whatnot. And Marion and I want to say thank you so very much for calling in with us today. Don't go too far away, because in the next couple of weeks, we're going to ring you in and have you to give us even more details about housing and homelessness in Chicago. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe Peary. Okay?
Right. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so
Joe.
much. All right. Callers, visitors, watchers, we're going to take a 45-second break so that we can bring our next guest onto the air. So, Mr. Engineer, if you will break us right now. All right.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its 3rd year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. See if you qualify please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We at Watkins Broadcasting care about the health and safety of our viewers and listeners. During this novel coronavirus pandemic, please protect yourself and others. Wash your hands well and often. Avoid touching your face. Cough and sneeze into your sleeve. Practice social distancing. Stay at least 6 feet away from others when in public and only leave the house when it's essential. Stay safe. You are important to us.
Hi, this is LaWanda,
This is R.J. Watkins.
coming to you to bring you some information about the #1 detox in the nation, Lemon Burn. Lemon Burn helps to turn the fat into fit. It's for you, a happier, healthier you, because you know healthy is the new beautiful. An all-natural way to improve your health. It promotes a healthy digestive system, attacks and reduces belly fat, as well as gives you energy. Need to get yours today. Call 313-868-6612.
Don't forget to exercise and eat right.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
All right, callers, we have a guest today. We were thinking that he was going to be our guest next week, but he's here today. And the treasurer is always welcome at the Ask Welfare Rights broadcast. And as you can see, he and Marion are already conferring with notes and numbers and all that, you know, which is what they do. Okay, we'd like to welcome our very favorite son of Detroit, our Wayne County Treasurer, Mr. Eric Sabree, is here with us. And we were just talking off air about some of the programs that are available. I thought the MyHOF program, Housing Assistance Fund program, I thought they weren't taking any more applications for a certain reason. And he's here today to explain that program is still going on. And he's going to talk to us today about other programs where people have. And he's been doing homework. He came here today with a cheat sheet, and he's got some numbers and everything together. So welcome, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Maureen,
Welcome.
Marion.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here.
Welcome. Okay, now give us the up-to-date information, because I've been asking Marion, why is Mr. Sabree on TV about the MyHOF program? I thought it had closed. So tell us what's going on with the MyHOF program and correct my misunderstanding.
Okay, yes. If there's a misunderstanding, I hope that it's not our communication. But the MyHOF program is the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. This program was designed to help people who were affected by COVID-19. And it went back, it said, we'll pay the taxes. The state is managing this program. It's federal funds. Pay the taxes for 2019 year taxes, 20 and 21. If a person shows that they have a hardship, they can apply by dialing 211. The reason that you thought it was over is that we were promoting this for people to apply before the March 31st deadline so they could avoid foreclosure in 2022. Anyone who applied for the MyHOF program, regardless of how many back years of taxes they had, would have been taken out of foreclosure. All you had to do, if you're an owner-occupant, you own the home, you live in the home, all you had to do was apply for the program, and you would be removed from foreclosure. So there should have been no owner-occupied properties getting foreclosed if people knew they just applied. So we had a lot of people apply, and it's still active. The applications are still coming in. Dial 211. You can go straight to the number, and they will say you want to apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, and then they'll take your application.
So that's MIHAF, Michigan Homeowners Assistance Fund. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And look it up. If you look it up online, it gives you details and all that. But the best way is to dial 211.
Okay, and get the details.
What about the young lady I told you that we went down and at downtown and
Which
spoke
one
to?
was this?
This was the one downtown. Your
our office?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm saying that, at first we said you can never get the people, but when we walked in there, it was tremendously, really good, the way they were treating us and what have you. So,
Well, wait just a minute. Let me interrupt for a moment. Marion and some other folks at Welfare Rights, but particularly Marion, Marion goes down and stalks the treasurer. She goes downtown and she says, I need some information. And I'm over here, so Marion will park her car and get up in that building and tell people at the front desk, I'm looking for him. And she looking up and down the hallway, and as luck would have it, here he comes out of one office, and Marion said, hey.
That was a long time ago.
So that's a good kind of report because the treasurer is user-friendly. If you go down there and you see him in the hallway, he's right there. He's right there because Marion never stalk him. So
we have a great staff. We have a great staff.
Good staff.
Even though you have to make an appointment now to come in.
Yeah.
If people come in without an appointment and there's nobody there in line, then we'll let them come in. We'll make the appointment on the spot.
And I know that that happens because I've had people to call Welfare Rights and say that, What other programs might people be interested in if they're behind on taxes or anything like that? What else is open?
Okay, what else? We have payment agreements that we manage in our own office. And the payment agreements, there's two types. One is called a stipulated payment agreement, just a regular payment agreement. For anyone, you don't have to be an owner occupant. You can be a landlord, business owner, or anyone that owns property that they don't live in. They can get into a payment agreement. And right now, it started in June. From June to October, you only put 10% down.
Okay.
And then you put down, like November is 20%. And so forth. You get
Numbers
into payment.
higher.
You get in the payment plan in December. You got to put 30% down.
Okay.
And the goal is to get to 60% by March.
So in June, if you get in June, it's a 10% down payment.
Yes, and it's on the 2020 taxes.
Okay.
So if you owe 2019, you have to pay off your 2019s first, and then get into the new payment plan.
Okay.
So most people's payment plans are ending now from last year. So they put 10% down and get into a plan. So if you're a healthcare worker, if you're a first responder, EMS, police or fire, or you're a veteran, you don't have to put any money down to get into a payment plan. All you have to do is show your ID to show that you're either a healthcare worker, first responder, or a veteran, and you can get into a payment agreement without any money down.
Okay, what about instructors? Teachers are not included in any of those categories?
We didn't include them. We did this. We just had veterans, and then during the COVID, we opened it up for the first responders and healthcare workers because they were doing out there on the front lines
all the time,
having hardship. So we try to assist them. Teachers are valuable too, of course.
Okay, and there's no reason. If people are hearing this today, and some of the details you just talked about, the payment plans, stipulated payment plans, that's important information. That is important information to share.
But there's one more in the payment plan for owner occupants.
Let's hear it.
You pay less money in interest too. It's called the interest reduction payment plan.
Okay.
And this plan allows you to stretch out your delinquent payments over a 5-year period.
Over 5 years.
And you pay 6% a year interest instead of 18%.
Okay.
That's great.
And
how did you make that happen? You must have went to court 50 times.
The legislature, we lobbied, the city of Detroit and other treasurers lobbied. Of course, we were the number one affected by it because we have the largest number of people in danger of foreclosure in Wayne County.
Yeah.
So we lobbied, and the state legislature allowed this program to come into existence where people can pay on their delinquency, but they also have to pay their current taxes at the same time. So it's a way of paying both, and that's why the 5-year period. So the theory is that in 5 years you will be able to pay off your delinquency and keep your taxes current at the same time.
Let me ask one other question that I've heard about is about if you're a senior and you haven't paid off taxes, what about that category?
Well, the only thing that's available for seniors is that you get you can delay your current tax payments. You can get some kind of a break on your current tax payments, but nothing as far as our office delinquencies. There's nothing in Michigan law which allows seniors to get a discount on the taxes or be tax-free, unlike some other states. Like Georgia, for instance, I know I have an aunt who lives in Atlanta. She's, she said, I think when you get to be 75 or 65, they reduce your taxes. Mississippi has the same thing. And I think Louisiana, yeah.
I've heard about programs, and people call down to welfare rights and ask us, how do they get an application to defer or to eliminate tax payments because they're 75 years of age in Michigan?
That would be the city assessor's office.
Okay, okay.
Or city treasurer. City assessor or city treasurer can help with that.
Okay.
They give you a little time to pay your current taxes.
Okay.
Now, also, people can apply if you're very low income. If you think you're very low income, you can apply for the what they call HOPE program in the city of Detroit. And the HOPE program allows you to, if you get approved for an exemption, say for instance you have some back taxes from years before, but you get approved for an exemption because your income is low. There's only two ways you can get exempt from taxes if you're an individual. If you are a 100% disabled veteran, or if you're low income and get approved for an income-related exemption. So you have to apply to the city, your city assessors for that. And if you get approved and you have back taxes, there's a program called Pay As You Stay. It's
remember
approved
that
by
one,
the state,
Pay As You Stay.
state legislature, which will eliminate most of your back taxes because of the exemption. And if you live in the city of Detroit, the Dan Gilbert Foundation has pay off whatever else balance that you have. After you get after the formula, you go through the formula and your taxes are reduced. Usually there's a balance, maybe 20% of what you owed. If you live in Detroit, the Dan Gilbert Foundation has been paying off the balance. So if you get approved for that program and you have back taxes, it means you don't have taxes going forward because you're exempt due to your income, but all your back taxes are then eliminated. Some in the city of Detroit. Now outside the city of Detroit, you would have a small balance. You can pay it off over 36 months.
Okay,
And
like the folks that live in Highland Park, they'll end up with 3 years.
3 years.
Time.
They can pay it off. It's very small, the amount of money that you have to pay off. But it's worked for a number of individuals who apply for it. It works. Some cities did not participate, but we had 35 out of, I think we had 18 out of 43 municipalities in Wayne County participating. Highland Park, of course, is one. Detroit is one.
Okay, now I know you brought your forms today.
Oh yeah, I wanted just to share with you.
Yeah. Who has the largest number of foreclosures? And I can guess what city that is, but there are other cities that are struggling.
Let me just tell you the numbers that we have. And these numbers have gone down maybe 2 or 3, but this is pretty accurate, a couple weeks old.
Okay.
Detroit, 3,709 foreclosures.
3,709 foreclosures in 1 year?
In this year.
Okay.
And now, let's break it down. What is owner-occupied? 399 properties.
So 399
owner-occupied
houses where people were living.
Yeah, they own them and they're living there.
All right.
Then non-owner-occupied, which means these are tenants or people who are living in homes that they don't own.
Okay.
That's 1,436.
Oh, that's the next number. Okay.
Yeah, then we have some vacant properties. I think it's 650. And then we have vacant land, 875 vacant lots. This is all the city of Detroit.
Now, what does that mean?
It means it's a vacant lot.
Vacant land.
Somebody has a lot that they own, they haven't paid the taxes for.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right. No structures on it.
No structures on it. And we got to go to commercial. We have 30 in Detroit, 30 commercial properties that are occupied. I think that number has dropped to 28 now.
Okay.
And there's 164 vacant commercial structures, and then 135 commercial vacant lots. So I told
commercial company owes the land and haven't paid any taxes
or it's on
a
street, or it's on a commercial like Livernois or Fort Street or Michigan Avenue. If it's located, a zone commercial, then that's vacant land and it's foreclosed. That would be in that category there.
Okay.
So Detroit is the highest, of course, the most populated city.
Of course.
And then after that is Highland Park.
Okay.
But Highland Park has 105.
105
total foreclosures
in a year. 105.
Yeah.
Okay.
But most of it is vacant houses and vacant land.
where people don't live.
Yeah.
They own property
Talking
but
about
haven't paid taxes on it.
75 out of the 105 properties in Highland Park that got foreclosed is either a vacant structure or a vacant lot. So there's only 30 properties that are in there that structures. I think there's 7 owner occupied and 14 tenant occupied.
That's
so
a low
21,
number.
Yeah.
21 occupied properties in Highland Park
Okay.
got foreclosed. So, and you look at it, there are 12 communities in Wayne County had no foreclosures at all.
Oh, what are those? Grosse
I'll
Pointe?
read them to you.
Yeah.
Woodhaven,
No foreclosures.
Rockwood, Riverview, Plymouth Township, City of Plymouth, Northfield Township, City of Northfield, Grosse Pointe City, Grosse Pointe Farms, Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Township, and Grosse Pointe Woods. And that's it. Yeah.
All right, now those are the last 4 you raised were our affluent communities. Now,
Most of them I mentioned are affluent communities.
you know, but in Plymouth, that's not exclusively rich.
No.
And they had foreclosure. They had no foreclosures.
foreclosures,
None.
none.
Okay.
But then you had 15 that had 10 or less too. Another 15 that had 10 or less.
Wow.
So
Wow. So,
you got
is Livonia on that list?
Livonia has, let's see. Livonia had 2 foreclosures.
2 foreclosures in a year.
One occupied house and one vacant house.
Okay, so because Detroit, and particularly Detroit, has the highest population,
Right.
then we have the largest number of foreclosures or whatnot
but
because
it's not
there's
just
more
population.
of us.
Not just population. It's income.
It's income.
It's income.
It's
It's a
income.
poverty issue.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it too.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah,
because when you look
yeah.
at the cities, you go down the list of the cities that have the most foreclosures: Detroit, Highland Park, Inkster, Taylor, Romulus, River Rouge, Ecorse.
Taylor, did you hear that?
Yeah, Taylor.
Okay, poor people living up in there.
Taylor is number 4 on 44 foreclosures.
Number 4. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not as dire as it sounds sometimes. You know, make it seem like it's a big problem. In
Well,
Wayne
I do
County.
know that during the period of COVID for 2 or 3 years, you kept off all foreclosures. So I know that happened. And now that people are believing, you know, these COVID numbers, last week, Mary and I have been out of town for a week in training and went to Washington to the Poverty Assembly. And what we learned was that this question of poverty is prevalent throughout the country. And wherever poor people are, folks have been struggling for a very long time. But I'm especially intrigued by programs that are still available for people to get into to do something about some back taxes.
Yes.
You know, because I've been talking to Marion about this for the last 3-4 weeks. Why is the treasurer on TV still talking about Meyerhoff? And I thought it was closed. So to hear that it's still possible, you know, for certain kinds of help to be made available, and people should call. Now, let me ask you this.
Okay.
You used to do the Zoom calls, and I know the 2 that I was on, and people were able to call in and explain their circumstances. It looked to me like that was extremely popular. Because when I was able to call in and you answered, or you had somebody to answer my specific question, is there a possibility, well, maybe some of that can come back between now and December?
We already started in June, last week.
Well,
You
when you
just
coming
too
to Highland
fast.
Park?
Well, we do it on the Zoom.
On Zoom. Well, see,
We can come to Highland Park. We can come.
yeah, because everybody don't have Zoom.
We can come anytime you set up a meeting with Beverly Hilton. And we'll come. We'll come.
With who?
Miss Hilton,
Beverly
you know her
Hilton.
if you see
She's
her.
our
yeah.
outreach director
Okay.
for the office.
Okay.
We'll come to Highland Park.
Okay.
But the Zooms are starting back. We're going to do them again all the way every month.
You just a little too fast for me, Mr.
know.
Treasurer. They started already last week.
We had over 150 people on. We took a 2-month break, April and May. Then we started back last week.
Okay.
And so what we do is we answer as many calls as we can. Then after a couple hours, we shut it down, and then we we stay on there for 30 minutes afterwards to go in the chat.
To still
To go in the chat and answer as many as we can.
Okay. 868-0342, 868-0351, 6336 if you have any questions, any specific issues that our treasurer can answer. Call in now. We've only got about 7 or 8 minutes left. So, and he's really good about your house. Your mother passed. Happens everywhere. Mama passed, daddy passed, you still in the house. You haven't paid taxes in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is. And now you don't know what to do because those little yellow envelopes are showing up at your house. So if you have any questions, Mr. Treasurer, 224, what's the rest of that number?
224. You talking about our number? 313-224-5990.
5990. Didn't know if it changed or anything.
No, or you can email us, excuse me, taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
Okay.
Taxinfo.
Highland Parkers, folks that live in Inkster, individuals that live in the city of Detroit, what kind of information you need in terms of the Treasury and what you may be behind or getting behind on taxes, because these are tough numbers. 10,640 new infections of COVID over the last 7 days. 69 of them passed away. And I'm talking about effective yesterday, from last Tuesday to yesterday, 10,600. And those numbers are still jumping, so there are still programs available. Now, Mr. Treasurer, I've got a household who they owe about $10,000 on the DTE bill.
Okay.
And it's this young man and his mother, and the mother's 82 years of age and is now showing very advanced signs of Alzheimer's. And he called, and then I asked him about, called welfare rights, asking about DTE and about water. And then I asked him about taxes. And what he said to me is that he was only behind 20 and 21 taxes. He should be calling my house.
Absolutely,
is that right?
Absolutely, because my half will also help with utilities.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay. What kind of utilities?
All utilities.
Lights, gas,
water.
Water?
Yes.
Whoa. Did y'all hear that?
224-5990. Don't fool around.
That's our number.
You know?